Matt. Yeah. Are you impressed right now? Is it a system? Is it a roster? Are you impressed? I started watching him more and more. I love the anticipatory throws he's making into second and third windows. A lot of NFL quarterbacks will not throw over the middle in the teeth of the defense, and I'm seeing Purdy do it even over Patrick Mahomes, who refuses to throw the dig route. I'm trying to see, are you a believer in Purdy yet? Because I know you and I were both on the same page with him. Maybe he's a system, a roster, blah, blah, blah. He's starting to show me that maybe he's more than meets the eye, but I still want to see some consistency do what he's doing right now because they have a great roster and they are 5-0. But is he impressing you?
Oh, yeah, man. I'm going to go yes on all three questions. The roster is incredible. I mean, incredible. And I'm not just talking about players that are good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just talking about
the linebackers are fucking all pros.
All of them, bro. They've got like fucking dudes everywhere. The number 29, the safety. What's his name?
The Uso.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes. Oh my God. That's like he reminds me so much of Troy Polamalu. It's ridiculous. The linebackers. Greenwood,
Fred Warner, Greenlaw, yeah,
is a missile, homie. He's so good. And then the defensive line, Armstead and Bosa, and the rotation, and now they get Randy Gregory gets to go there and pass rush the back like the other tackle, and he gets to be a spinner and go pass rush guards. If Randy Gregory's the guy, you're screwed. But if he can be a great complementary piece with Armstead and Bosa and all the other freaks they have there, so. That's number one. And I didn't even talk about offense, Christian McCaffrey and all these other dudes. That Trent Williams, who I think is the best left tackle I've ever personally seen play ever. And he would be my number one tackle in NFL history at that position. And that's high praise because there's some bad motherfuckers that played that spot. But I want to say this. On Monday of this week, I went and had a meeting with the great Loren Landau. All right. And if you don't know who Loren Landau is, he runs Landau Performance here in Denver. He was the Broncos strength and conditioning coach for years, and he is the man in the game. All right, and Loren and I, we're going to do business down the road here for moving forward, and I'm really excited about it. He trained me back in the day. You know, I'm going to start taking my kid over there because, again, that's the other voice thing that we always talk about. Even with me, and I run a facility, I want him to have another voice and learn from Augie over there, the speed coach and whatnot. That neither here nor there. He does a great job. I was over there talking to him Monday about business and things of that nature. And he was telling me a story, like he's really close with the Shanahans, obviously. He trained so many of the Broncos when Mike was there. He knows everybody. He obviously worked for the Broncos, very close with Christian. He helped Christian in the pro day. He still trains him. Christian went to Valor, which is like stone throw from my house. So it's all big football community out here, right? So we're obviously pulling for San Francisco. We want them to do well this year. Loren and I were talking the other day, bro, and he brought up the fact that the San Francisco 49ers, he went out for like a week and watched them practice and like operate after he got let go here in Denver by Sean Payton, which I thought was a ridiculous move. Like LL probably should have had a lifetime contract with the Broncos. Great strength coach, best in the game. Now, what he said to me was, Kyle walked up to him and he was like, what do you think? And Loren's like, I've never seen the leadership on a team like this before. The ability for the great players on San Francisco's roster to hold each other accountable with no ego and no pride and none of this, like, who do you think you're talking to bullshit that men do? It's why they are the way they are. When Greenwood can walk up to Trent Williams and say, that's not good enough. And Trent says, you know what? I agree. It's not. Thanks for holding me accountable. Or when McCaffrey can walk up to Bosa and go, you know what? That effort or that's not the way we do things here. And it's just a hypothetical.
Yeah.
He goes, you know what? That's right. We don't do things that way here. Our standard is up here, not down here. We don't have days like this. Thanks for holding me accountable, 2-3. That's leadership. So that's what I'm saying. Like when I hear that from the people that I trust at that level, like that know football, and the leadership in the room doesn't even start with the coaches. This is kind of my point with every football team of all time. If your leaders aren't the big dogs on the team that people fear, and the accountability level is being set by the coaches before the players, the coaches can ride on the accountable part, but they can't set it. They can't set it. Like if you don't have multiple team meetings where like it's players only, you can't set it. So that's the first thing. And then to elaborate on your other questions, it's Purdy is now thrown into all this, right, Coach? He's thrown into all this as Mr. Irrelevant, and they make him so relevant because of their ability to lead and put their arms around a rookie and go, I used to be this rook. I used to be this guy, and he needs to be embraced, and we got to teach him how to do things in San Francisco because he's the missing link. I personally think, and I'll throw it back to you now, Coach, I think San Francisco has a chance to be an undefeated football team. I think they're that good, number one. And number two, if Purdy stays healthy in his development and how he's just slowly inclining, just getting better, I personally think he's going to be an all-pro, a Pro Bowler, and I'd be shocked if San Francisco isn't the representative in the Super Bowl for the NFC, and they should win it, bro. That is the best football team in the NFL, period. Brock Purdy is balling.
All right, now said all that, and I'm going to say this because I've been the biggest Kyle Shanahan debunker there is, right? I'm like, this dude's got to win. I mean, so you just said a lot.
Yeah.
If he don't win, do you fire his ass?
No.
Yes or no?
No way.
So when does this motherfucker have to live up to his billing?
Look, I agree they need to win a Super Bowl. I do. But I don't think that if they lose in the NFC title game or they lose in the Super Bowl, I'm not going to overreact as the owner or the GM and John Lynch and fire somebody that always has us in the NFC title game or the Super Bowl.
It's hard to do, Matt. It's hard to do, Matt.
Really, it's super hard. And I'm not trying to make an excuse, but I am going to say this. They should have won the 31-20 lead Super Bowl they had in whatever that was, 50, whatever the fuck. The one in Miami where Mahomes, they were down 31-20. They lost and losing the game, okay? They should have won that game. If Garoppolo hits that throw, they do. And right afterwards, they made a move to get rid of Jimmy. They tried to bring in Trey Lance and do all this other shit. It didn't really work. You know, they kept Jimmy around for a year and went back to the goddamn NFC title game where they had the lead again. And if Ward catches that pick, they go back to the Super Bowl, and I think they beat Cincinnati. So there's two. Now, last year, they're in the NFC title game again, and by the end of the game, they've got Christian McCaffrey playing quarterback. So there's reasons for stuff, and there's excuses for stuff. I think there's a reason they lost last year. I think the other two are excuse-based, but you can also look at it as a player as, look how close we were. If we get a break, maybe we have rings. So
let me ask you this. Can their roster get better?
They're the best team in football.
Let me ask you this. Can their roster ever be better? I mean, let's just be not hypothetical. Let's be honest. Their rosters can't get much better unless you go get, I don't know, big-time QB that's out there, Aaron Rodgers or something, right? There's no getting better. So if you don't win it after you've been there so many times, if you don't win it with this roster this year, what are we going to be saying next year? Like, we got to go get another tackle. Like, no, you can't get much better, bro.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Let's just run it down. Trent Williams is the best left tackle in football. George Kittle is a top 5 tight end, maybe the most complete player at his position in the game. Some would argue that he's the best tight end in football, and I might be one of those guys. He's special. Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in football, the most complete player. Catching the ball, running the ball, pass protection, consistency, that's a bad motherfucker. Deebo Samuel is maybe the best. I'm going to call him a V skill, a versatile skill, like
utility back.
Yeah, like we played in college, and the great Lawrence Vickers, you guys know LV. Like Lawrence in college, we called him a V back because he would play H back, fullback, tailback, like he could do everything. And that's Deebo's kind of guy. he's the best at what he does, in my opinion. Not the best receiver, not the best running back, but from a combo perspective, that dude is the best at what he does. Ayuk is one of the top 10 players at what he does, and I wouldn't even call him a traditional receiver either, because they run the ball so much and they block so much. It's just a different kind of skill player from the wide receiver position. From the rest of the offensive line is good, but not elite. You know, they've got a lot wrapped up in Trent Williams, and he's the anchor. You go to defense, Eric Armstead is a top 10 3 technique. Bosa's the returning defensive player of the year. Fred Warner's first team All-Pro, maybe the best Mike linebacker in football at the moment. And
Von Hargrave.
That's the debate. Hargraves, they steal him from Philly. He's killing people at nose tackle. Their rotation up front is ridiculous. They go get Randy Gregory's soft ass. Maybe you can harden him up in the Bay. Like Greenwood, the other linebacker might Greenlaw, excuse me. Lay down.
Safety.
Greenlaw. Like
and that's law.
Yeah, that's lay down law. Call me Greenlaw. Like that's a little Wayne.
Yeah.
You see, you feel me? So like he's elite and he's playing his ass off. And then the secondary is also we just talked about them. They're balling. Their special teams are through the roof because they have depth everywhere. I mean, there's a kid the other night that had 3 sacks. I never heard of him before. So I just think that the way they built this team, you ask the question, what will happen if they lose? They'll come back next year and be fucking loaded and in the same position they were this year to